Hey guys, how's it going? I hope you're having a wonderful day and I hope you're staying safe wherever you are in the world. I am continuing with my Wham/George Michael discography journey. In my prior video, I finished listening to all of Wham's albums. They only had three, and now I'm moving on to George Michael's solo career and his discography. I already listened to Faith, and now I'm moving on to his second studio album. Listen Without Prejudice, Volume 1 from 1990. Now, I will be listening to the MTV Unplugged version from 2017. This version has remastered versions of all the tracks. And there are 10 tracks. The only track I think I might have heard is track number 2, Freedom, the 90s edition. I'm thinking I have heard it. I mean, looking back at my childhood and my life, I feel like the chorus is stuck in my head. I feel like the chorus does sound familiar. I feel like I remember this song to some degree. So if I start listening to it and it sounds familiar, just like any of these other songs, I'll let you guys know. So we're just gonna get right into it with track number 1, Prayed for Time. Okay, so that was track number 1, Prayed for Time. Where do I start? Oh my god, I always knew George was a good lyricist, but oh my god, these lyrics. I mean, I had no time to move my body around to dance. This is definitely not a song you dance to or you move your body to. It's a song you listen to and you read the lyrics to. And I was just focused on the lyrics the entire time. And wow, there is so much to digest. Because I do these first listen videos so fast and I only have a few minutes to sit here and give you my impression of a song I just listened to, it's a little difficult for me to digest a song like this in a couple minutes. I can't really give you what I think it means just from reading the lyrics for a couple minutes. It could be. I'm so sorry if you hear the revving of engines outside and there are people slamming their doors in the hallway. Just people are being really obnoxious right now, so I'm sorry if you hear all these random sounds. But yes, these lyrics. I'm reading them right now, and it's just so difficult to grasp them right now. And it's hard to love, there's so much to hate, hanging on to hope when there's no hope to speak of. And the wounded skies above say it's much, much too late. Well, maybe we should all be prayed for time. Your television takes a stand and you find that what was over there is over here, so you can scream from behind your door, say, what's mine is mine and not yours. I could go on and on, honestly. This is definitely a very meaningful song, a song you kind of have to digest multiple times. It's a song you can't really grasp on the first listen. You have to listen to it multiple times to really understand it. So if you guys know the meaning behind this song and the entire album that was released back in 1990, you can let me know in the comments. But I will say, just from what I've listened to and from reading the lyrics, I really enjoyed this song. It was reminding me of Janet Jackson's Rhythm Nation with the social commentary and looking at the state of the world and reflecting on the state of the world. I always feel like I'm stuck in the bubble when I think back to the 90s because the 90s were my childhood. I was just a kid, so what did I know about the world? I was busy watching Disney movies and watching Pokemon and listening to Backstreet Boys and Spice Girls and being a kid playing outside, riding my bike. I didn't know what was happening in the world, so for those of you who were old enough to understand what was happening in the world, your teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, and onward, what was it like living in the 90s, in particular the early 90s, compared to now? So now let's move on to track number 2, Freedom, the 1990 version. And for those of you who don't know as to why I'm saying the 1990 version, is because there is a track called Freedom that Wham released off their second album called Make It Big. So this is, I guess, a different or another rendition of the song. Alrighty, so that was track number two, Freedom, the 1990 edition. And I do recall hearing this song, but the only part of the song I recall hearing is the chorus, which to me sounds very iconic. And this was a really, really good track. To me, when I think of George Michael, I think of his song Faith, and I think of the song Freedom. I also think of One More Try, because One More Try is also one of my favorite George Michael songs ever. I even want to go as far as say it's probably one of my favorite 80s songs ever. So if you haven't heard Faith or One More Try or his Faith album before, I definitely suggest you check it out. It was the album he released prior to this in the 1980s. Again, the lyrics, I absolutely love the lyrics once again. He's singing, heaven knows I was just a young boy, didn't know what I wanted to be. I was every little hungry schoolgirl's pride and joy, and I guess it was enough for me. To win the race, the prettier face, brand new clothes, and a big fat place. So I guess he's talking about his time in Wham when he was much younger and when he was more rebellious, and Wham was very popular. All the girls loved Wham, and I imagine lots of boys too. And he was making lots of money, and he was noticeable. He was famous. His face was on TV. But then he goes on to say, but today the way I play the game is not the same. No way. I think there's something you should know. I think it's time I told you so. There's something deep inside me. There's something else I've got to be. Take back your picture in a frame. Sometimes the clothes do not make the man. So I feel like he's being very reflective in the song. He's looking back at his career and what it used to be like during Wham and maybe even his Faith album. And now he's grown up, he's becoming more mature, and he's not as materialistic as he used to be. And perhaps he's not as vain as he used to be. We had a very big shot, good time, bad on the run, boy. We were living in a fantasy. We won the race, got out of the place, went back home, got a brand new face. I mean, I love George Michael's lyrics. I'm gonna say this time and time again. I don't care if I sound like a broken record. I love the way George writes his songs. And I'm quickly going to check how old George was when this album was released back in 1990. So he was born on June 25th, 1963. So he would have been 10, 20, 30, 27. I mean, I can only imagine what this song would have sounded like during a huge concert live when he starts singing the freedom part during the chorus. I can only imagine what that was like. But anyway, let's move on to track number three, They Won't Go When I Go.
No more lying friends, wanting tragic ends. They won't go when I go. So they won't go when I go. We'll see. They won't go when my destiny.
Okay, so that was track number three, They Won't Go When I Go. Oh my god, this was such a unique sounding song. I've never heard a song sung like this before. The way he was doing that, it was so haunting. At the same time, it was so beautiful yet tragic and amazing. And it does say at the bottom that this song was written by Stevie Wonder. So I did look it up, which I typically don't do because I always want you guys to tell me and share with me your knowledge about these albums. But I made an exception this time. I looked it up myself, and yes, this is a cover of the Stevie Wonder song from 1974. So I definitely need to check out the Stevie Wonder version, but this version I really enjoyed. It was, like I said, it was beautiful and it was haunting and and if I didn't know Stevie Wonder wrote this song, I would have just assumed that George wrote it because this sounds like and reads like a song that George would have written. And in the song, he said, for they can never show their faces, there ain't no room for the hopeless sinner who will take more than he will give. He ain't hardly gonna give. The greed of a man will be far away from me, my soul will be free. So once again, if you know the meaning behind the song, let me know in the comments, but I really did enjoy the song. So let's move on to track number 4, Something to Save.
If you've got something to say, why don't you say it? Moving further from heaven and closer to the deeper sea. I have nothing left to hide. And I'm open to all your questions. 'Cause I have no secrets from you. And I have nothing left to hide. We've got something to say, why don't we say hey there?
Okay, so that was track number 4, Something to Save. Yes, I really like this song. Just like all the other songs on the album so far, this one was really good. I really like the production on this song in particular. He's saying in all these games that you play, don't tell me how a man should be. Some would say if you knew, you would be here with me. I love you, I still love you, but I guess it's time to let you be because I have no secrets from you and I have nothing left to hide and I'm so tired of all these questions. So I'm assuming this song is about a relationship, about saving a relationship, something to save. If we got something to save, why don't we save it? So far, 4 for 4, I'm just loving this album so far. Let's move on to track number 5, Cowboys and Angels.
That scar on your face, it's such a shame. Always ends the same. Angels, they all take a shine to you. Why should I imagine that scar on your face? A chance.
Okay, so that was track number 5, Cowboys and Angels, and I really enjoyed this song, just like the rest of the album. It was very bluesy, had some jazz in it. At the very end, there was a saxophone played, which I absolutely love the saxophone. The saxophone is one of my favorite musical instruments of all time. I could hear it, I could listen to it all day, every day. Well, that's a little much. Maybe not every day, but I really do enjoy listening to it. I actually watched the movie La La Land the other day for like the 20th time. And for those of you who haven't seen La La Land, it stars Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling. It was nominated for Best Picture, almost won Best Picture. And it's about this woman who is trying to become a big star. She's in Hollywood, but it's also about jazz music. There is this gentleman, Ryan Gosling's character. He wants to be a successful jazz artist, so he wants to open up his own jazz club. And the song was reminding me of that. He's saying, all you do is love, and love is all you do. I should know by now the way I fought for you. You're not to blame. Everyone's the same. I know you think that you're safe, Mr. Harmless deception that keeps love at bay. Again, this is another song that I can't really fully grasp in a couple minutes when I do these first listen videos. It's a song I have to listen to again. It's a song I have to read the lyrics to again. So if you know what this song is about, let me know in the comments, but I really enjoyed listening to it. So let's move on to track number 6, Waiting for That Day.
So every day I see you in some other face. You're a fool, boy. Why don't you go down, find somebody, find somebody? It's that door we just broke up. No, I'll never see your face again. I've come to this
Okay, so that was track number 6, Waiting for That Day. And at the very bottom, it says written by George Michael, Keith Richards, and Mick Jagger. Wow. That's pretty interesting right there. And I gotta say, this was another song I really enjoyed. This has been a very consistent album. There isn't a single song on here that I dislike or I think is just okay. There might be a couple tracks I prefer one over the other. Obviously, like most albums I listen to, but each of the songs I would definitely go back to in a heartbeat. This album definitely isn't frivolous dance, frivolous upbeat music that you can just move your body to aimlessly. You definitely have to pay attention to the lyrics. I feel like this is more of a lyrics album than just, a feel good, upbeat dance album. And what I did realize going into this album was that it was released in 1990. So this album was released during the AIDS pandemic that started in the early 1980s. So I keep forgetting that a lot of albums that were released in the 80s, even in the 90s, have songs that were written and geared towards the AIDS pandemic and people that have died. I mean, you hear it over and over and over again in lots of songs that were released during this time period. For example, Madonna's Erotica album, there is a song or two on that album that is speaking about the AIDS pandemic and people that she knew that died to the crisis. This song, I feel like, once again, is about a relationship. He's saying, I will make it worth your while. Come back to your baby. I miss your kiss. I miss your smile. Seems to me the peace I search to find ain't gonna be mine until you say you will. Don't you keep me waiting for that day. I know you hear these words that I say, I know, I know, I know, I know. So let's keep moving along to track number 7, Mother's Pride.
Oh, she knows. She takes his hand in the clothes that Daddy wore. Mother's pride. He's a soldier waiting for war. And as he rolls, he hears the land. She waves his son goodbye. Just a boy, his country's eyes. Your daddy died, a hero, in the name of God and man. He's a soldier now forevermore.
Alrighty, and that was track number 7, Mother's Pride. I feel like I was on the verge of crying listening to that song. When I first started listening to it, I could feel my eyes tearing up, and I thought I was gonna end up crying. I almost did, but I didn't. But still, this was. I mean, how can you not get emotional listening to this song? If you don't get emotional listening to this song, you have no heart. Just kidding. And I feel like this song is very straightforward. I feel like this song is about all the men and sons and fathers who had to go off to fight in a war. How Mother's Pride, crazy boy in the name of God and man, his lifeless eyes, he's a soldier now forevermore. He'll hold a gun till kingdom come. His country's eyes, he's a soldier waving at the shore, and in her heart the day has come to lose a son. And all the husbands, all the sons, all the lovers, God, they make no difference in the end. Ugh. This song is just it's heartbreaking. It's breaking my heart. And that haunting melody as George is singing this song is ugh. So let's keep moving along to track number 8, Heal the Pain. Already, so that was track number 8, Heal the Pain, and this was an enjoyable song. It was very pleasant to the ears, but I will say, sorry, I got an email on my phone. Yes, I record my videos on my phone. Anyway, um, I enjoyed this song. This would probably be my least favorite track on the album. I mean, I don't want to say this because I know how amazing this album is. I absolutely love George Michael, but this was probably my least favorite track on the album. I did think it was a little boring, but I still enjoyed listening to it. I could listen to George singing the phone book and I would still love it. So it's good. And I will say this album so far, though I've been enjoying it, it doesn't sound as commercial as his prior album, Faith. Faith sold 20 million albums worldwide, and this one only sold 8. And it's a little tragic because he's definitely more serious. It's not as fun as Faith, and this is definitely a bit more, like I said, it's more serious, it's a bit more tragic. And I could see why it wouldn't sell as much, but it's tragic at the same time that an album that's so meaningful and passionate and serious doesn't sell as well as his prior work. And I'm also reading that there was supposed to be a more dance-oriented volume 2 of Alyssa Without Prejudice that was to follow this album in June of 1991, which unfortunately didn't materialize. I feel like there is a volume 2 somewhere in the George Michael vault somewhere. He must have recorded tracks for the album, and I feel like they're out there somewhere in some hidden vault, in some dusty basement that hasn't seen the light of day. I really want to hear it. And I'm quite disappointed that there never was a follow-up to this album like there was supposed to be. But I'm reading, disappointing album sales in the US led to Michael's legal battles against Sony Music, in which he accused the corporation of not fully supporting him as an artist. That's the most tragic thing I've ever heard. I'm also reading that there were mixed reviews for this album, mixed reviews leaning towards positive. I mean, Rolling Stone only gave this album 2.5 stars out of 5. I've seen a lot of 5 out of 5, 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5 again. This album was included in the book 1001 Albums You Must Hear Before You Die. And what I just told you guys I don't normally do, I usually wait for you guys to share with me your knowledge on the album. I love reading your guys' comments, so I don't typically dig into an album's history on various internet sites. I usually wait for you guys to tell me about what happened when an album was released. I don't normally do the digging myself, but this was an exception. I needed to know. I know we still have 2 tracks left, but I don't care what anyone has to say. I'm enjoying this album. So now let's move on to track number 9, Soul Free. Okay, and that was track number 9, Soul Free. I really like the production on this song. I like that, I don't know what it is. It's that, you'll know what I'm talking about when you listen to the song. It's that whistle, it's that flute. I don't know what it was, but I really liked it. But I will say this was another song I didn't really care for. I don't know if this would be a song I'll go back to, just like Heal the Pain. I wasn't really feeling it. I wasn't vibing with it. I don't know if it's just me, but I don't feel like this song fits in with the rest of the album. I feel like it's a bit of a departure. I don't know, maybe I have to give this song another listen, which I most certainly will when I listen to this album again. So we have made it to the end of the album with track number 10, Waiting, Reprise. Ugh, I love the guitar.
You've got somewhere to go, and the road that I walked upon, well, it filled my pockets. At least I know, so I'm not so strong for your dreams in heaven. Now I know there's no way I can write those
That's gonna get stuck in my head. Okay. Track number 10, Waiting the Reprise. Great song. I really, really, really enjoyed it. It's a great way to wrap up the album, and two thumbs up. So that was Listen Without Prejudice, Volume 1. I am so sad we will never hear a Volume 2 like there was supposed to be in 1991. But this was a good album. I liked it through and through. I mean, I will say track number 8 and 9, I was a little indifferent to. In particular, track number 9, Soul Free. I didn't really care for that song at all. But other than that, the first 7 tracks and track number 10, I really enjoyed. I kind of liked Heal the Pain. I wasn't crazy about that song, but I liked almost all the songs on here. I like how more serious sounding this album is. George has come a long way since his debut Wham album, Fantastic. I mean, they polar opposites. If you were to listen to Fantastic and then this album, I mean, it's night and day. And it's sad that the public wasn't as receptive to this album as they were to Faith. Like I said, I feel like Faith is a more commercial sounding album than this. This one is more serious, it's more heavy handed. And that shows in the sales, and that is why there wasn't a Listen Without Prejudice Volume 2, and so on and so forth. It's really sad when an artist puts their heart and soul into something, into a piece of art, and it doesn't do well. At the end of the day, even though they put their heart and soul into something, it's about making money, and if it doesn't make money, you get the axe. And it's so sad that we live in that world. But unfortunately, even though you work hard for something, even though you put your heart and soul into a piece of art, it still has to sell. And if it doesn't, it's not considered a success. I'm looking at his discography listing, and it's saying Listen Without Prejudice Volume 2, 1991, unreleased. And then it goes on to say The Trojan Souls, 1993, unreleased. So there were supposed to be 2 other albums released between Listen Without Prejudice Volume 1 and Older, his album from 1996. And the fact that we didn't get those 2 albums it's devastating. At the end of the day though, I don't care how many millions of copies an album sold. I don't care how many times platinum an album went. I don't care if professional music critics hated the album. I just form my own opinion. If I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. And I enjoyed this album. So what did you guys think of the album? What are the highlights for you? What are your favorite tracks? What was it like when this album was released back in 1990? What were people saying? Did you ever see George Michael live? Did you ever see him perform these songs before? And what was George Michael's career like and life like after leaving Wham? He released Faith, and now he is, I believe I said 27 years old when this album was released. So what was his personal life like? I imagine because he was famous that his personal life was in the tabloids and what have you. So I don't know, was he out of the closet yet? Was he more open about his sexuality? What was that like? I mean, maybe he touches on his sexuality in these songs I listened to on Listen Without Prejudice. I have to go back and listen to them. So give me your thoughts, give me your ideas, give me your opinions, leave a comment, tell me what you thought of this album. I enjoyed it. So we will now be moving on to his next studio album, Listen Without Prejudice of Volume 2. I wish. In the perfect world, in an alternate universe. I would love that. But instead, we will be moving on to his next album, The Trojan Souls, released in 1993. Just kidding. Once again, in a perfect world, I wish. But unfortunately, we will be listening to The Trojan Souls, or Listen Without Prejudice Volume 2. We will be moving on to Older, from 1996, which I'm very much excited for. So thanks for watching, guys. You can find me on Instagram, you can find me on Twitter, you can message me, you can tell me other artists I should check out. I'm open to any artist from any decade. You can find me on Apple Music, you can check out the playlist I'm listening to right now. I think that's all I want to say. So have an amazing day, guys. Stay safe during this pandemic, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.